For centuries, the kings and queens ruled Remnant with a tyrannical fist. But as time moved on, so does change. The kingdoms retain their name, but the leadership has now switched hands with elected officials. Sadly, it just proves it's no different when royalty was in charge. They have a heavy-handed rule over the masses. So much so that many people from varying kingdoms fled their homes to pursue greener pastures. But what can thrive in this hellish environment filled with dangers at every looming corner? Grim, murderers, bandits, wild beasts. It was then they found each other and formed the very first government ruled by the people and for the people. They founded the Federation of Super-Earth in the near future. They demonstrated unparalleled cooperation in the face of great danger as they lived every day under constant guard from any threat, both foreign and domestic. It took them 500 years, and now, current RWBY timeline, there was a rising cadet among the ranks that got the Ministry of Truth's attention as Cadet Jaune Arc was summoned to the office of the MOT. Jaune entered a dark room with a lone spotlight on a chair in the center. He was instructed to take the seat, and he did so without protest. MOT officer, Cadet Arc, glad you could accept our summons. Jaune, anything for the Federation after you have my family, all the benefits, and rights to be super citizens. How can I be of service? MOT Officer 2, I love that enthusiasm, boy. Something to be sought after any budding Helldiver. MOT Officer 3, what we're gonna ask of you will be a lot to take in. Are you sure you're willing to continue? Jaune, yes, sir. MOT Officer 1, we have reason to believe that an attack is coming towards Remnant, and that includes the Federation. Jaune, anything for the Federation. MOT Officer 2, you need to shed your uniform for the soldier. Jaune, but that uniform is the symbol of my loyalty. MOT Officer 3, indeed, but it will raise too much attention to see a soldier take on this assignment. Jaune, what is the assignment, sir? MOT Officer 1, we need you to observe and investigate the current events in the kingdoms, and you are to relay it to us for it is to come to a consensus. We trust you with this assignment with full confidence. Jaune, I'm just gonna miss my cape. MOT Officer 2, we understand your frustrations. Many divers wouldn't part with their uniforms, but you are the exemplar for future divers. MOT Officer 3, we will reward you handsomely. 500 medals for you to make any purchases with your heart's desire, and more on the way. Jaune, wealth is not an issue for me, sir. MOT Officer 2, regardless, loyal service deserves to be rewarded, not shunned. MOT Officer 1, with that business is dealt with. You will still have access to your destroyer. Just make sure no one noticed it, and the use of your stratagems must be handled in a discreet fashion. MOT Officer 3, that is a lot to ask for, especially they arrive with a loud crash. But still, if push comes to shove and you are left with no other option but to drop your act, make sure they know who you are and what the Federation is and what we stand for. Jaune, for managed democracy. He stood and salute. MOT Officer 1, that's the spirit. Dismissed. You will leave at 0:400 hours. Jaune then turns and leaves. Later at the Arc household, his family was any normal family who are enjoying the benefits of the Federation. Rico Arc, son, you didn't have to enlist. There are plenty of divers around. He is an honorably discharged veteran who has served his tours. Jaune, it's my choice, Dad. Every day our world is spiraling to chaos. We don't band together rather than bicker amongst ourselves. Nothing will ever change. Daisy Arc, just be careful out there, honey. Your job is an occupational hazard. Jaune, I understand, Mom, and I won't be engaging any combatants for now. But I will be on my third tour. Saffron, Donus, proud little bro. Tara, look, little Adrian, your uncle, is about to go on his mission. Adrian, Diva. Jaune, don't worry, kiddo, your uncle is just doing his job for managed democracy. Adrian, Mawag democracy. Saffron ruffled his hair as Jaune shoulders his duffel bag. His family wishes him well as he bids them farewell. He doesn't take a pelican as he went to a nearby village where a bullhead pick up people for transit towards a kingdom. Jaune wasn't allowed to bear the Helldiver's insignia, but he was allowed to use their weapons. Stratagems are out of the question as well. Weaponry: Liberator assault rifle, Peakmaker pistol, Senator Pistol, backup. Anti-material rifle. High explosive standard grenades. He was limited with his options, but he made do. When he was nearing Vale, the ship made a stop at Hatch and picked up 2 huntresses in training. 1 blonde and 1 brunette with red highlights. The trip was noisy as more and more students board as he noticed 2 more students who looked more like fashion models entered, and the white one was causing a ruckus. John ignored them as he focused on his mission. But he failed to notice a pair of eyes staring at him. He shook off this feeling due to his military discipline. Then news about the white fan was brought up on screen where he clicked his tongue as he mumbled traitors to democracy. He then looked out the window and saw a beacon, a simple tower that would look like the stuff in fantasies. He even questions the huntsmen as public servants as they seemed more like an independent mercenary force that receives marching orders from their academies or headmasters. And he was appalled at the history of Remnant as the kingdoms all disarmed themselves except for Atlas as they found a loophole. No kingdom should have a standing army to prevent another massive-scale war. But the stipulation is pertaining recruited troops. Nothing was mentioned about automated troops. The word automated left a disgusting taste in his mouth. As he grew angrier at the TV showing Atlas proudly and seemingly looking down on their audience, he dismissed Atlas as nothing but an empty army with empty promises. He then ignored the dribble and prepared for his mission. As he steps out of the bullhead and takes his first step into possible enemy territory, he just took in sight as he looked around as students passed him going into the academy or a look around. The day seemed normal until something exploded in the distance, making the other students flinch, duck and cover, or scramble. John was unaffected since he had to hear 500 kilograms bombs go off, 380 millimeters barges, airstrikes. You get the idea. He remains unfazed as he investigates the source of the noise. A Helldiver just dived in the RWBY world.